welcome to this short pre-recorded webinar all about our collaboration course. This webinar is intended for parents and carers of children who are about to take the course with us, whether it's a 5-day version of the course, a 4-day or a 3-day. And in this webinar, I'm going to be talking through what we do at Role Models, why we believe life skills are so important, and give you more detail about the collaboration course itself. So what your children will be getting up to, and I'll finish with some helpful ideas for how you can help to embed these skills at home with your child too. So firstly, let me introduce myself. I'm Louise Traherne, Director of Character Education at Role Models. And my role on the team is I create the content for our courses and I also train our fantastic role models. My background is in teaching. I was a primary school teacher for 12 years and that included 5 years as a senior deputy head teacher in an independent school in London. And it's very much that experience within education that's given me that insight into the types of skills that young people need in order to thrive in life. I moved on from education and then trained to become a qualified coach, and I now am actively coaching adults, parents, teenagers and children alongside my work at Role Models. If you are watching this webinar back and have any questions about our content, the course, please don't hesitate to get in touch. You'll see my contact details here on the screen. For those of you who perhaps don't know much about us at Role Models, we are an impact-driven education provider and we focus on what we call life skills that we know promote social and emotional well-being and what we call dynamic thinking. And we really believe that these are the types of skills that help young people to thrive in life, at school, at home, and also thinking about getting them ready for their future, for the workplace, and also just life ready. How do we do that? Well, we like to complement the more traditional academic education by delivering our courses, and we do them both offline as well as online, working with children between the ages of 3 to 15 years old. The types of skills that we focus on in particular include leadership, confidence, resilience, creative problem solving, collaboration, and a growth mindset. Now, your child is about to take our collaboration course, and we're going to go into much more detail about what that includes. Before we do, a quick reminder about why these skills are so important. They have many, many different benefits, but I'd like to just highlight 3 in particular. We know that mental health and well-being has always been important when it comes to our child's sense of happiness, how they view themselves, their relationship with self, whether they're able to develop healthy relationships with others, and just their general satisfaction from life. Now, as I say, that's always been important, but I think particularly now, where we are during and post-pandemic, these types of skills are so incredibly important when it comes to your child's happiness. Now, we also know that these types of skills impact their future. If we think about the future workplace and being work ready, the World Economic Forum has highlighted the types of skills that are crucial in the workplace. And, academic success alone is not enough. We hear that feedback from employers that they are looking for people who can communicate effectively, who can solve their own problems, who have the resilience, the tenacity, the independent thinking skills to be able to thrive in the workplace. And of course, we also know that these skills impact academic attainment. And I think often we fall into the trap of thinking it's either or. Are we focusing on academics or are we making a compromise and one or the other, life skills or academics? And there is actually a very clear relationship between the two. If we think about your child's sense of resilience, their grit, their determination, their ability to pick themselves up when things don't go to plan, all of those things matter in the classroom. down to how much they are engaging with their learning, how likely they are to take risks, put their hand up, offer an answer, be able to respond positively when perhaps they get a mark that they weren't expecting in an exam. And it's no surprise that people skills and the ability to collaborate also matter hugely in the classroom too. So just building on that further, I mentioned the World Economic Forum. They have highlighted these top 10 skills here as the ones that are really needed to thrive. And if we have a look, it's no surprise we've got people management, coordinating with others, judgment and decision making, negotiation skills. All of these are the types of skills that are not going anywhere. And if we think about developments in technology, artificial intelligence, yes, technology is replicating and taking over an awful lot, but the people skills, the emotional intelligence is probably the one area that, is here to stay. And that's why these skills are so important. And we talk about future proofing our children and the younger generation, and this is the way we can do it. So the 4 skills that we focus on within our work at Role Models are resilience, leadership, creative problem solving, and collaboration. And we have a course, both offline and online, in each of these 4 areas. And as I've said at the beginning, it's the collaboration course that your child is about to experience with us. So what will that include? Well, the clue's in the title. It is all about teamwork and how effectively your child can communicate with other people. Now, often children have a view of communication as just being about speaking. So we really unpick that during the course and we look at effective communication. What does it involve? And yes, it's about speaking and talking, but it's also about listening. And can we really understand what active listening looks like and feels like? And let's talk about why that's so important when we work with other people. We have to be confident in sharing our own ideas, but we also need to be respectful. We need to show humility in our teamwork too. So lots of the activities they will be doing will be based on communication. How effectively can you talk to each other to be able to strategize, to come up with a solution, and did it work? So lots of teamwork, lots of listening activities, and then confidence. I'd say the main thread throughout the collaboration course is working on developing confidence. And I see that both in the sense of confidence in yourself, to be able to offer your ideas within a group, to share them, to be able to assert yourself. And we get really particular about that, looking at language that we can use, things that we can say and do with our bodies, our body language, to be able to really assert our point. And what's the difference between being assertive compared to being passive, or compared to being aggressive? And how do we get for that assertive? That's what we're striving for. Also, confidence in the sense of not just working with others, but in ourselves. So as part of this course, we look at public speaking and presenting. And I find this to be a really helpful element, because if children can become confident in presenting themselves in any situation, it's such a valuable skill. So yes, we mean this more formally, standing up, giving a presentation, a speech, persuading a group, sharing our passion points, but this feeds into much less formal situations too. So when we're with our peers, when we're with a group of people or in a family social event, how can we begin to develop our confidence to be us and be us authentically? So we look at public speaking, we look at top tips about how to really step into our most confident self, and we also look at interview skills. And of course, this is a really valuable area to focus on, again, from a more formal situation when we might be going for an interview, whether that's for a future role or job position, but also something that feels much more immediate. So if we were going for a position of responsibility, maybe it's sports captain in our school, or maybe we're being interviewed for whatever type of opportunity. But in a less formal sense, how do we learn to present our best self when it's a one-on-one situation or a slightly more formal setup? And within the interview skills prep, we look at first impressions. We look at how do we come across as being both interesting and interested. And a lot of mindset work comes into this here. So you'll see the last point there mentions a growth mindset. Now we have a separate course called our resilience course, which goes into growth mindset in a lot more detail, but we do still cover it on our collaboration course, because we feel that a growth mindset is so important. And if your child can understand that if they feel they've made a mistake in their public speaking, or if someone in the group they're working with has made a mistake, how do we respond to those things? And if we're embracing a growth mindset, we don't let that setback knock us off course. We can recover, we can respond positively, and we can continue. So the collaboration course is really quite varied in terms of what we'll be covering. Lots of teamwork, lots of working together, and focusing on communication and confidence. We're incredibly lucky to have some fantastic role models who work with us, and our role models are the course facilitators. So your child will be in a group led by one of our role models, not necessarily one of these on my screen here, but I just wanted to give you a flavour of some of those who do work with us. Many of them are teachers, ex-teachers, actors. We've got those who are interested in mental health and well-being, and they are young, passionate, experienced individuals, all trained by our education team in the content, and they're brilliant at building rapport with the group. And they will be completing a written report on your child, which you'll receive after the course has been completed. And I really encourage you to reach out during the week at drop off or at pick up, have a chat to your child's role model, get some feedback. They're there for you to chat with. So some example activities. We know we're going to be working on communication and teamwork. How do we do it? One of them I'd like to share with you is called the shepherd and the sheep. So the children are working in a group. One of the children is assigned as the shepherd, and the rest of the children are the sheep. And it is the shepherd's job to herd the sheep into a marked out area, box on the floor. However, the sheep are all blindfolded, and the shepherd is not allowed to use their voice at all. They're given a whistle, and they are told to talk about their strategy as a group. So here, I'm sure you can imagine, we have got so many different things coming into play. How do we discuss our ideas as a group? What strategy are we going to use? Do we all agree? Do we negotiate? We've got some element of leadership here, and it's very much about trying something and reflecting. So with all of these challenges, they feel quite tricky, and the role model knows how to pause when time is needed to encourage the group to come together again and say, is what we're doing working? Is this successful? And usually with this challenge, shepherd and the sheep, they work out through trial and error a system. How are we going to communicate? How will we know which sheep the shepherd is talking to? And they come up with a system. Tallest tower is a very hands-on activity where they are given newspaper and paper and some sellotape, and in teams they're asked to construct the tallest freestanding tower they can possibly make in the time given. Now, again, very interesting from the role model's point of view, how they interact to do this. Is there a natural leader that takes place, that comes to the forefront? Is there negotiation? Is there planning before beginning? Does everybody get involved? Is everyone listening to each other? The challenge is done, we look at the outcome, and again, the crucial point is reflection. Okay, what worked well? What did we do together that helped us reach our goal? And if we were going to do it again, what might we need more of, less of? Debating also features during the week, and I think any type of debating activity is a brilliant one to help your child increase their confidence to be able to speak in front of a group, to be able to share their ideas. But the teamwork element comes in here. How do we respond to the situation we're in? Can we work collaboratively, and can we quite quickly react to the opposing team's responses? So many different skills included in debating, not just confidence, but that ability to be able to use the right type of mindset and to react quite quickly and to think, I know what I'm going to say, but what can I anticipate the opposing team might say, and can we prepare for that? Our robots challenge is another hands-on one, all based around communication. So the children are set up in groups of 3, and we have a beanbag hidden somewhere in the room that we're working in. Now, 2 children are chosen to direct the child who's blindfolded to locate the beanbag. However, it's not as straightforward as that, because of the 2 children who are doing the directing, one cannot see and one cannot speak. So it's a real combination of non-verbal communication going to verbal communication given. So it's like a little kind of process that each direction has to be understood and passed on to the next one. And it's lots of fun. It goes wrong along the way, and it really helps them to see, how can I be really clear and really purposeful with my instructions so that they're going to be understood by the person receiving them. And then healthy living and well-being facts. I wanted to quickly mention that on all of our courses, our role models always highlight one particular healthy living fact each day. And this is shared with the children in a very relaxed discussion. It can be about keeping our body physically healthy, mentally and emotionally healthy too. So it could include something like the importance of staying hydrated. Now, why is drinking water really important? Or it could be about screen time, the impact of screen time too close before our bedtime. And it's a very quick chat, but it's amazing how much these discussions really resonate with the children. And often parents will say, these are the exact same discussions we're having at home, but yet when the role model had this chat with them, they came home talking about it and ready to really implement that into their lives. So you will be receiving a summary email at the end of each day of the course, and often the role model will put into that email what the healthy living fact of the day was. So do check that out. I wanted to offer some ideas for how you can help embed these skills at home beyond the course. So thinking about a growth mindset, I have some ideas to share. Emphasizing the effort and the attribute that your child is showing, rather than only focusing on the outcome, is a really effective way of developing a growth mindset. So this might sound like, rather than just giving our praise and our focus on the score or the outcome or the success by saying, wow, you got 10 out of 10, wow, you got 100% in your exam, is to level that off by giving our focus to the effort too, or the attribute. So it could be, wow, you got 10 out of 10, that's fantastic. Do you know what I'm most proud of? Is the determination you showed this week. You sat down and you practiced for that test every single day. That's what I want to highlight. That's what I'm most proud of. So if our child is only ever hearing our praise attributed to the success level of the outcome, that can be what tends to breed that perfectionist tendency. So it doesn't mean that we can't ever praise the outcome. We absolutely can, but finding those moments to also give credit to the attribute. It was your grit, it was your determination. When you came across that tricky bit, you didn't give up. Or I could tell you really didn't want to do that this week, but you still dug deep and did it anyway. Modeling and sharing our own examples, very effective. If we want our child to be less fearful of making mistakes, then we need to share that and embrace it uh, ourselves and as a family. So it could be as easy as talking about the mistakes we all make each week and what we've learned from them. Recognizing and praising progress. I think often children struggle to see the progress that they're making. So in that moment where you feel your child is probably just about ready to give up and quit at something, we can step in and we can say, hey, look, I can see you're still finding this tricky, but look how much further you've come in the last half an hour, or look how much further you are this week than you were last week. Remember when is a really useful phrase too. Remember when you felt this way about cricket or karate, whatever it might be, and now look at you. So we know you can get through this. You've done it before. Let's try it again. Letting them struggle and fail, perhaps one of the hardest things to do as a parent, but if we truly want them to develop this growth mindset and a resilient attitude, we have to give them the space to put it into action. So rather than protecting them from any type of difficulty, is to allow them that space to actually feel things that are uncomfortable. And then finally, encouraging them to step outside of their comfort zone. Now, we go into a lot more detail on this in our resilience course, but within the collaboration course, I think public speaking, presenting, debating, interviews, all of those things for many children will naturally push them outside of what feels comfortable for them. And the course itself is a great way to experiment with that. So just reminding your child that, yes, it can feel uncomfortable for all of us when we step beyond our comfort zone. Let's remember why that's such a good and healthy thing to do. If you would like more information on a growth mindset, do click the video link in the slides that you'll receive with this recording. There's a very useful video there all about a growth mindset. Ideas for at home, specifically about teamwork and some of the other skills that I've talked about with listening. I would say encourage and promote active listening. And we talk to the children on the course about what that looks like. Not just listening for the sake of it, just to hear the words, but truly and properly listening to understand. Now, if we're doing that, we will be giving our attention fully. We won't have a phone in our hand. We will be looking at the person who's talking. So it might be that as a family unit, you begin to really embrace and promote that. Let's put devices away. Let's model effective listening. Allowing children to solve problems and make decisions. These are other ways that can really help develop your child's confidence. Coming to them and saying, I really need your help with this. You've got great ideas. What do you think we should do? What should we do at the weekend? Or this is the problem we've got to solve. What ideas do you have? And then any opportunities to debate, discuss, present, and practice interview skills. It could be that you have a very informal, relaxed debate about something, within your family, or it could just be discussing ideas. And I think that last point, opportunities for opinion, independence, and healthy disagreement. This could be as easy as, what do you think? Do you have a different opinion to your brother? Do you disagree with your sister? Trying to really get underneath that reluctancy to have an opposing opinion and to reassure your child that, it is okay to disagree. It is okay to feel differently to somebody. And there is a way that we can do that which is respectful and it's polite. We can assert ourselves, but we can do it authentically. And the way we become more comfortable with that is through doing it and putting it into practice. Now, one of the problems with any type of course like ours, any type of education or experience, is your child can have a wonderful course week with us, but inevitably they go back to their everyday way of being. And how do we make sure that the learning from the course is properly embedded? Because we want your child to have a great time, we also want them to think, feel, and behave differently because of the course. So there are a few things that we try and do to embed the learning. I've mentioned the daily email you will receive. That's written by the role model, and it is a brilliant way for you to engage. I know so often children come back and we say, "What did you do today? What did you get up to?" Nothing. You get very little back. So use that daily email as a prompt. "Oh, I've read here that your role model is telling me that you did XYZ today." There'll often be photos attached too. "Tell me what was going on in this photo here. Tell me what you had to do in the shepherd and the sheep task." The end of week report that you will receive will also be a brilliant insight into how your child has responded. And in that report, the role model will outline the progress that they've made, but perhaps even more importantly, they'll outline where do they need to take this next? How can you continue to develop these skills further? Now, I know many parents often choose to share that report with their child's class teacher because that insight is also very helpful for them too. You will receive 10 top tips at the end of the course for how you can embed these skills at home. And we also send through 3 follow-up videos. So these are directed for your child to watch, and we space them out. So you'll receive the first one 2 weeks after the course, 4 weeks, and then 6 weeks. A great reminder, just when your child is forgotten all about role models, get them to watch that short video, and it helps them reflect, am I using what I learnt on my role models course? During the course itself, your child will write a short letter, and they write that letter to themselves, to their future self. We keep them and we post them to your child roughly 2 weeks after the course is finished. And again, it's a brilliant way to receive that letter and think, yes, teamwork, presenting, how am I using these things? What did I hope I would be doing when I wrote this letter? All the children who complete the course will receive one of our passports with the key skills ticked off and a certificate, and they'll also receive one of our role models t-shirts. We run these courses in lots of different venues at different times throughout the year, so please do read your pre-course email very, very carefully, and in that email you'll have all the course specific information. You will have also been prompted to fill in a pre-course form. That's for you to give us any important information about your child, any needs, any allergies, and the course times are 10 in the morning until 3 p.m. The children do need to bring along their own lunch, which needs to be nut-free, and a water bottle. And depending on the time of year that the course is taking place, please make sure that they've got suitable clothing with them. So that might mean a coat, a sun hat, sun cream, depending on the weather. Drop off and pick up, that I've mentioned before, the role models are there for you to chat with. We do ask that parents, carers, nannies do make the drop off and then leave for the day rather than stay on site. I'm sure you can appreciate our courses are all about confidence and independence, so we like to create that environment for your child. I hope this webinar has been helpful to give you an insight into what your child will be covering with us on the collaboration course. If you do still have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to get in touch. You can pick up the phone, you can drop us an email, and also if you'd like to check us out, we are on Instagram, and I really, really hope that your child enjoys their experience on our collaboration course. We can't wait to meet them soon. Thank you.